Hello everyone, welcome all of you in Simple Healthy Ways. I am Dr. Rupali Udhane. I am a homeopath. Recently I completed CCMP, that is course of modern pharmacology, that is allopathic medicine. I am also PG certified integrative dietitian and yoga expert. So all of you know we started health series on topic of acidity where we cover normal digestive process, migraine, urticaria, hyperacidity with acid reflux, gastric ulcer, and in today's video we are going to discuss about dyspepsia. If you will watch the complete health series of acidity, you will come to know different terms like acid reflux, that is hyperacidity, that is the acid with food coming into the esophagus, and there is a frequent burning regurgitation in the esophagus along with the throat and mouth. There is a sour taste and also there is a dental erosion. In case of peptic ulcer, there is a epigastric pain along with vomiting which is blood stained. And in today's video, we are going to discuss about dyspepsia. It is a common gastric disorder seen in 20 to 40% population worldwide. To know about of this dyspepsia, what is the difference in this term acidity, acid reflux and dyspepsia? Dyspepsia is characterized by epigastric pain. Sometimes there is a burning in stomach. There is a easily satiety of food. When one start eating, immediately they feel abdomen is full, stomach is full. So further there is a no desire to eat. Sometimes there is a markedly loss of appetite also seen. In some cases there is a nausea, vomiting. In some cases there is a retching with burping. In some cases there is a postprandial distress, that is after eating there is a fullness of abdomen, there is a tightness of abdomen. If one will touch the abdomen there is a pain in the abdomen. There is a fullness with gases filling in the abdomen. Even sometimes indigestion also seen. These are the generally seen or commonly seen symptoms. If this symptom persists for 2 to 3 days, one need to consult physician for the treatment. Complaint related to dyspepsia remain for 3 to 6 months. One supposed to consult physician, gastroenterologist and undergo thorough investigation to rule out the underlying cause and to follow appropriate treatment accordingly. What are the alarming symptoms present in the dyspepsia? When there is a dysphagia, there is a painful swallowing is seen. Also there is a blood-stained vomiting and also there is a marked weight loss is seen. Sometimes swelling present in the abdomen or all over body, and even there is a cramping sensation in the abdomen or whole in the body. One supposed to consult hospital immediately. So what is the pathology behind this? What is the mechanism behind this? In every topic of acidity, we consider there are different mechanism, different pathology is responsible for the present symptom. So let's see what is the underlying mechanism present in dyspepsia. There is a motility disturbance which is seen in GERD. In GERD, there is improper functioning of lower esophageal sphincter is responsible for delayed gastric emptying of food, and also there is a delayed peristaltic movement which is mainly responsible for indigestion and hyperacidity. Another mechanism responsible, that is visceral hypersensitivity. Then elevated mucosal permeability. In chronic case of hyperacidity, patient is on treatment for longer time. That changes mucus secretion present along with the stomach lining, and so there is a elevated mucus permeability, and that is also the reason for dyspepsia. Impaired mucosal permeability is also one of the reason for dyspepsia. Then next is disturbance of autonomic and enteric nervous system. Because when you are eating food, you are eating with your mouth. Though digestive system is interacted in the process of digestion, but mental involvement, mind involvement is also important. And mind involvement in this process of digestion also plays important role. Because when you are thinking of eating food, the brain passes signal to the stomach and that starts secreting saliva in the mouth. Saliva is the first which helps in the process of digestion by diluting the food and also helps in the process of digestion of carbs and fats. When you are eating with your mind is attentive and you know what you are eating and you are interested and you are involved, that time all secretion saliva is secreting at the optimum level and your digestion is carried out effectively. But when you are involved in watching TV or talking or involved in doing some work, that time your brain and mind is missing, your body is eating just mechanically all the food, and so the complete digestive process is not happened, saliva is not secreted properly, and so the digestion is hampered, and mainly indigestion, hyperacidity and dyspepsia often seen. So we always focus on mindful eating, eat properly, eat slowly, chew properly. So these are all the things which are related to our digestion. So let's now consider what are the risk factors responsible for this dyspepsia. The first is enteric infection. There are various infections like H. pylori, E. coli and also Salmonella is responsible for the complaint of dyspepsia. The another important reason is recent antibiotic use. When you are taking stronger antibiotic or antibiotic that always hamper the acid level in the stomach that affect the process of digestion by altering mucus secretion in the stomach. Then the next factor is faulty eating habit. Because when you are eating food, that time you are drinking too much of water. So too much liquefied food also lead to bloating in the abdomen and complaint of dyspepsia. Even irregular time of meal, eating after a long time, eating larger quantity of meal, night time eating or fasting also affect the digestion and lead to complaint of fullness of abdomen or gaseous abdomen. The next is overweight. In overweight patient also, when there is increased BMI, there are faulty eating habit often lead to fullness of abdomen, leads to frequent complaint of constipation, indigestion, hyperacidity, and that is the reason for dyspepsia, bloating and fullness of abdomen. Next is smoking, tobacco chewing. Overconsumption of tea and coffee is also responsible for the complaint of dyspepsia. Next is psychosocial dysfunctioning, that is anxiety, depression, sleep disorder is also one of the responsible factor for the complaint of dyspepsia. So these are all risk factors associated with the complaint of dyspepsia. Now we will see how to investigate in case of dyspepsia. When the complaint is persistent for 3 to 6 months, we are supposed to do complete blood count, then biochemical studies, especially for LFT, liver function test, if any biochemical changes seen, to rule out biochemical changes in the blood. Even in case of H. pylori infection, the test is very important to rule out the infection in the abdomen. Even gastroscopy is also very important to rule out ulcer, erosion and cancer in the stomach and intestine. 24-hour pH monitoring is also very important to check out the acid level in the stomach and to rule out acid reflux, hyperacidity. So these are all the evaluation to be done for the persistent and recurrent symptoms of dyspepsia. So what is the treatment? Generally the treatment is given to suppress the acid level, that is H2 antagonist and PPI. Mostly PPI, that is proton pump inhibitor, omeprazole, esomeprazole and lansoprazoles are effective. They are given for the 4 weeks. But if the treatment is not showing any progress, then consider antidepressant. Mostly TCA group antidepressant will be effective to rule out psychological cause and stress and strain in the case. Even adjacent therapy like psychotherapy, herbal supplementation, dietary modification, lifestyle changes also beneficial. So this is all about of dyspepsia. Now we consider the allopathic management for peptic ulcer, migraine, urticaria, acid reflux and dyspepsia. We are going to consider homeopathic management and also dietary changes, because sometimes lactose intolerance, that is dairy product intolerance, is also responsible for the dyspepsia, and also gluten intolerance. Sometimes gluten is not tolerated by some patient and so there is a complaint of dyspepsia is seen. So we are going to consider dietary changes responsible for the complaint of acidity in the next video. All these treatments suggested in this video should be taken under the guidance of physician. If you found the videos informative, please like, share and subscribe. Till then, thanks, bye.